So I've got these old cassette tapes of my dad preaching back in the 90s. And on one tape from 1991, he preached a message titled Living Under the Skies of the Almighty. In the opening of that sermon, he talked about a dream that he had had. In the dream, he said the sky wasn't just the sky, it was God's TV screen. And through that screen, God was looking into our lives. Not looking down on us, but looking into our hearts. And my dad said something extremely powerful. God is always tuned in. So if that's true, if we're really living under the skies of the Almighty, are we living a life truly for Him? Hello, God bless you. My name is Samuel Benitez. Welcome to One Verse at a Time. The title of today's message is Living Under the Skies of the Almighty. And like I said, I got the inspiration for this message from an old cassette tape of my father preaching back in 1991. I was 8 years old. It's really mind blowing to think about that. Listening to my father in 1991, he was 39 years old. 39 years old, and I was only 8, and hearing his voice when he was just a few years younger than I am now is just, it's amazing. It's mind blowing. It's a great feeling to, I always tell people, my dad passed away in 2020, and that's him back there you see on the wall. And I always tell people, if I close my eyes, I can and focus, I can hear him. I can still hear his voice in my mind. But to be able to actually have these cassette tapes, I know they're ancient now, right? Kids are like, what the heck is a cassette tape? Even CDs are outdated now, right? But that's how old I am. But I thank God for these tapes, and I thank God for my mom finding them. And I've got, several others. Thank God for the tape ministry back in the day, right? Old school, the 90s, in our churches growing up, the tape ministry. Thank God for them, because where would we be without those old cassette tapes? I've got so many of my father's tapes, even from other ministers that he listened to. But of course, my favorite are the ones where he's preaching. So this was at a men's breakfast. On the front of this tape, it says Men of Valor, Men's Breakfast. And it was March 16th, 1991. Reverend Art Benitez Jr., Living Under the Skies of the Almighty. So, I've done this message in the past, but I wanted to, do it again and tweak it a little bit, because every time you read through the Bible or you go over an old message, you always, the Holy Spirit always gives you something new. You can always add to it, right? You give the message one time, and maybe a year later, the Holy Spirit directs you back to that message, and you kind of update it, you tweak it a little bit. So we're going to be in Isaiah 55, and we're going to be reading through the first 10 verses. And for those of you following along, I read from the New Living Translation, if that makes it any more easier for you to follow along. I know it does for me when I'm sitting in a service or listening to a video. I like to follow along in the same exact translation, but that's just me. Maybe it doesn't matter to you. But Isaiah 55, verses 1 through 10, and we're going to be breaking it up. So let's start with the first 3 verses. Is anyone thirsty? Come and drink. Even if you have no money, come take your choice of wine or milk. It's all free. Why spend your money on food that does not give you strength? Why pay for food that does you no good? Listen to me, and you will eat what is good. You will enjoy the finest food. Come to me with your ears wide open. Listen, and you will find life. I will make an everlasting covenant with you. I will give you all the unfailing love I promised to David. Okay, so that was the first 3 verses of Isaiah 55. And the title of this section in Isaiah 55 is Invitation to the Lord's Salvation. So, you see, it starts off there as anyone thirsty, come and drink, even if you have no money. Come and take your choice of wine or milk. It is all free. Why spend your money on food that does not give you strength? Why pay for food does you no good? Listen to me, and you will eat what is good. You will enjoy the finest food. Come to me with your ears wide open. Listen, and you will find life. I will make an everlasting covenant with you. I will give you all the unfailing love I promised to David. So the question that we have before us today at the beginning of this message is, are we living a life for God, or are we just saying that we are? Because whether you are saved or not, God is tuned in to your life. He's always watching, and that is because he is interested in you. He cares and loves for you more than you could ever imagine or even understand, whether you feel deserving or not, whether you care or not. God is watching. So what characteristics are required to live this life for God? Well, the first characteristic that we're going to go over is obedience. We must live a life of obedience. Obedience to God and His Word. We must live a life of obedience. You know, a lot of people say that they want to walk with God without walking in obedience. They want their cake and eat it too. They don't want to let go of anything. They want the best of both worlds, and that is not possible. We have to choose. They want the benefits without living the life. And that's why it's extremely annoying to me when I see celebrities who clearly don't honor God, claiming to be blessed by God. I'm sorry, that is just not true. Your success is coming straight from the devil in those circumstances. And it's only hush money. I like to call it the devil's hush money. So we must be obedient to his word. In this life that we live under the skies of the Almighty, we go through seasons where we lose the freshness of the gospel and we become cold toward God and His Word. We tend to grow cold and we begin wanting credit for tests that we have not passed yet. I know I was there for the past like almost 2 years. I was going through a test that I just could not pass, and I got so frustrated, I got so angry, I got so, just upset about everything by the end of it, that I just wanted God to, check me off, mark me off, like, hey, I've had enough, right?